like Spanish or whatever.
Day of the Dead, right?
Mexican is Dia de los Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead, which is where
if you sing Coco, then you know it. Yeah, Duelo de Muertos. So my Spanish, I don't know.
Dia de los Muertos.
Day of the Dead.
Yes, Day of the Dead. But essentially, yeah, it's where the
really
veil is thinned and your honored loved ones that have passed on,
and they keep you on by remembering you.
Yeah.
But
and so,
I think
you
that's a really cool concept.
Do
like
offerings at your little family shrine and everything, and you keep them alive, essentially, in memory, sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's something I want to adopt.
Yeah, I thought maybe it sort of evolved from that somehow.
No, I think it was like an older, more pagan, similar, because where it was same thing, the fall festival of Beltane or whatever, where, but same concept. The demons and the spirits and everything else can cross over during this night, and you have to carve jack-o'-lanterns and put them on your porch to scare them away and keep them away from your household. And like, there's a whole bunch of shit mashed up into Halloween. And then traditional American style, we coated it in sugar, dipped it in chocolate, threw some more sugar on it, and then threw it at kids. And so, and figured out how we get money out of this. Yeah. And so,
by the way, do you want to see something scary?
We already saw your pumpkin.
Ooh,
oh, Jesus.
How'd you get two?
Two of them.
Yeah, now candy's like $57 a pound.
Wow.
Now, Sarah and I were actually talking about this. We have a theory, like it's partially this whole trunk or treat thing is part of the cause for the rise in juvenile diabetes. Because back in our day, you'd have to go like fucking walking like 8 miles to earn your candy. Nowadays, they have to walk around a parking lot and they get like the same or more candy without any of the calorie burn. So yeah, you're not offsetting it.
Pretty basic, Adam.
You think there should be a quota in an area of who can who can have candy? So
maybe you have to go run laps on like the track, like the Olympic track. Every time you do a quarter mile, you get 2 pieces of candy.
Yeah, you have to have a ticket from the previous house, which is a half of their address. And so,
does anyone here eat?
They've walked all the way.
Candy corn? I like candy corn.
Oh,
we don't get it over here. I've never had it.
No, that's worse than pineapple on pizza. Argument. Candy corn.
You also like eating crayons.
I mean, if the mood fits, if the mood strikes, I'm not above fucking around to find out.
It's not actually corn, though, is it?
No, it's just these little like marzipan, like hard, fucking.
Oh, marzipan. That sounds.
It's high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, it's like congealed high fructose corn syrup that's made to look like a pie wedge with 3 different colors. So it's not corn-like. It's not
corn syrup in everything. though. I thought that was an American thing. It's like corn syrup. That's what we use.
So that's why it's candy corn. It's literally just corn syrup candies.
It has nothing to do with corn. There's 0 corn in it.
Well, high fructose corn syrup.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I guess yeah.
Oh yeah, well I guess there is that.
Corn.
Which is quite a large ingredient of it, I think.
It's pretty much 99% aside from the food coloring. So yeah, like.
Well, there's no healthy attributes of corn in the candy corn.
I mean, there's no healthy attributes of the Reese's cups that I was eating just a few minutes ago either. But
actually, no.
I think there's protein in the peanut butter.
No, they have faux peanut butter, I guess, in there. So.
Yeah, so that is there is protein in it, so it's not completely unnutritional.
You've never had a candy corn, Josh? You've never had candy corn?
No,
not proper.
There's a lot of American stuff I'd like to try, and candy corn's one of them.
It's like eating wax, candle wax.
So yeah, 1 gram of protein for every one of these little Reese's cups.
That's healthy as shit.
That's pretty bad. Yeah, that's like. That's
but it's each one has 5% of my daily saturated fats. So take it or leave it. Oh, and 3 pieces. I'm not doing the math great off the top of my head. 3 of these little cups, the small ones, 26% of your daily sugar.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. 13 grams of added sugar.
You know, well, I used to get like little boxes of sweets. It would be like a collection from all around the world, and every month I'd get a new one. One month we got an American one, and they were so sweet. I like sweet stuff, and it was like some of it was so sweet it like took the flavor away of things.
Do you remember what you got in the box or what you liked out of that box?
You know, I can't. It was because it was about like a year ago or so. I don't even think there was a Twinkie in there.
Well, those are rare now. Haven't you seen Zombieland?
Those will kill you instantly.
Yeah, I've seen them in so many films. I think
never
there
had a
was a Twinkie, and I just ate it, and I don't think it was a high quality one. But
is there such a thing?
But for me, it was a moment because it was something I'd seen in movies, like loads. Like I think of Ghostbusters every time I think of a Twinkie. You know, so.
Josh, we'll have to put you a box together of all the weird candy that we have that you haven't tried yet. You know,
have you tried Mexican candy?
I just found out that Kit Kat makes a bunch of different flavors in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I've had those over here. Yeah, orange, mint.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
They're Sakura Blossom and green tea ones that are fucking only available in Japan or fucking.
Of course they are. Like that's so Japan.
But thing that we learned just a few weeks ago is that Oslo
do a lotus flower
in Norway. They make a
ice
Freya.
flavor.
They have a company called Freya that makes a Kit Kat type bar that's way better than regular American Kit Kats. So if you want a good Kit Kat, you have to go to Norway. Actually,
I don't know what chocolate is on your American Kit Kats because you know your chocolate in America. To us,
I think it's like standard our shitty like milk chocolate thing, and then the wafers are kind of
milk chocolate would not legally be allowed to call milk chocolate. Over here.
It's like the bread at Subway, right? There's so much sugar in it that you can't legally call it bread in Ireland.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Subway had to stop advertising themselves as a sandwich shop I think it was somewhere in Ireland because they got sued, and the judge found that there was so much sugar in the bread that it had to be ruled candy and not bread because of the amount of sugar in the bread.
The thing is, Ireland has a sort of quite a rich array of sort of native bread. So,
right? Yeah, they're serious about their grains,
Irish soda bread and stuff, which is amazing. So I can imagine why they're like, "That's not fucking bread."
Yeah.
Don't even try it.
No.
It's a sugar biscuit.
It's like me going over to America with an air rifle and saying, "I fuck, I'm loaded." You'd be like, "No."
Oh, jeez.
It's like my 10-year-old child is more loaded than you are.
Do you have guns in the UK or
what? 10-year-old children?
Some.
No, you as adults.
Well,
our 10-year-old children have guns here in the US.
Oh right, yeah, no, I do want a gun now. I've been I'm still anti-gun actually, but I still want one. Maybe I'm anti-gun for everyone else, but like I'm happy to have one myself.
Yeah, all of the other irresponsible people should not have guns, but I'm responsible, so it's okay if I have them.
Yeah, or even the responsible ones. Maybe
you ever shot a gun before?
No,
I mean, you're from London,
I shot a handgun. I shot a handgun at my ex.
Not even like a shotgun going out pheasant hunting or something.
No, there is one nearby, and I am going to go. But my first shot with the handgun, I injured myself. The way I held it, the recoil of the top thing,
the slide cut you open.
Yeah,
they call that.
That was the first time I met my father and her dad. And so, like, first thing he did was, "Hey, do you want to fire a gun out the window?" I'm like, "Fucking yeah!" And then I hurt myself.
And you're like
the least manly boyfriend that just turned up.
Oh my god! It's
married to like a gypsy family. Like, what the fuck or the Peaky Blinders? Like, what the fuck is going on over
there? Fucking Christ!
They call that.
Hey, son-in-law, you want to shoot guns out the window?
No, I was in Latvia. I was in Latvia at the time.
Okay,
I had family in Latvia.
So they are gypsies,
and they were blank.
Like so.
I was firing blanks out the window. Yeah,
bro, that's a fucking horrible story.
I was shooting blanks out the window.
I hurt myself. And I don't think any of these irresponsible people should have guns except for me.
Yeah, and I injured myself on the slide because I couldn't hold the gun right. Like
they call that a Beretta.
I actually want to. I'm more into like sort of. I want to shoot from a distance. I want a sniper rifle type scenario.
We're moving right up the ladder.
Yeah, just okay. This escalated quickly.
No, yeah, no. Precision shooting is a totally different game. It's totally fucking chill. It's mellow. You're like in tune with everything going on. You're paying attention to the wind, near, close, and far. And it's really just three things. It's your trigger pull, it's your natural point of aim, and it's your breathing, and that's all it is. So, and then obviously the external variables. And then you get to a point where you're like, "Fuck, I gotta make my own bullets." It's that. Once you get about 500 yards out, like your spread becomes significant with factory ammo. So it's just a totally different type of shooting. Whereas with an AR,
it's like I'm running before I'm walking kind of thing.
Josh, no, it's fine. In the United States, we'll take you out shooting.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. All right. Deal.
Safely. But, not like out of a car window or any of that shit.
There is a shooting range nearby.
Into a car window.
I do have a shooting range in my town, apparently. So
and you won't be shooting blanks over here, bud. So. So Josh, what are you drinking? Because I see you like have a whiskey sometimes, and then what's in the other cup?
Well, so my whiskey is it's a 13-year-old Shiraz.
Okay.
I highly recommend. And yeah, that's just lemon squash.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was just a lemonade or an Alka-Seltzer or what you were like a soda water or what.
It's decent whiskey, so I'm not going to mix it with anything. So I'll drink that neat. But then
there you go. Wash it down with something.
Stop me throwing up. Like, I need some other fluid that isn't just alcohol. So.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
It's the afternoon. For me, it's like 10 to 8 in the evening. So
yeah,
I'm not a crazy alcoholic.
Oh, Chris isn't here. But when Chris comes back, can we get that clip and save it somehow in StreamYard? Of Kyle shooting his gun off the front porch. We'll just have that.
What's that?
Kyle,
it's like the intro. Yeah, we need to get the best clips of SpacePlace and Porch Pops.
Porch Pop.
Porch Pops, yeah.
I tried to get Kyle to do a desk pop. He's like, I am not shooting the ceiling in my own house, but I will go shoot this off the front porch. And he just went outside and unloaded a whole clip off the front porch of his house.
Oh, that was one of the early days when you were back in North Carolina, wasn't it?
It was shitty internet. Yeah, I was on satellite internet, so all you see is intermittent flashes. Those were early days. That's got to be within the first 10 episodes that time.
It was pretty early.
Yeah, that was the good old 3-hour getting drunk and high and talking shit about whatever for as long as people stayed awake.
Before we had reputations to ruin.
And guns on the internet.
I'm assuming here no one is advocating for sort of tighter gun laws or anything like that.
No, we have a Second Amendment.
No. But I mean,
I'm advocating for more guns. I need a bigger collection.
I don't know if there's ways you can minimize stuff and still follow the Second Amendment. Just I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it is kind of fucked up. I mean, all guns should be free. We should be granted 1 year. Every time we pay taxes, we should get reimbursed in guns. There's all kinds of laws.
Tax deductible.
I did see a funny exchange that someone had online.
Can I pay my taxes in ammo?
I think 9mm are legal tender.
Is this on?
Yeah. Well, we can hear you, Chris. Go ahead. You just got to talk over the crowd.
Oh, sorry. This thing has a tendency to just stop working.
No, yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Someone was saying that guns, they need to be regulated the same way that voting was, and somebody replied was like, so you just want to mail them out to everyone?
Yeah,
So
see, we have to give our ID over here now.
Oh, we do too.
like,
Yeah,
for voting.
yeah, we
know.
do as well.
Seemed like there was a big deal. Like
there's some states where they have different. So it's state by state. So some states you don't have to show an ID. So usually it's like you show up and you prove that you know something about the registered voter. So you have to be a registered voter.
You got to be registered as well.
Yeah, you already have to be. You have to be registered. So you have to show up with the right name in the right location, and then they'll have a book with your name on it. They'll be like, okay, well, confirm your address or whatever. So if you can't do those things, it's not like anybody that walks up can come and vote, right? So you don't necessarily have to show an ID card, but you have to prove you
like
at least know who you are
or whatever.
So a driver's license would count as an ID for us. Like that's about the only state-issued ID that any of us have. But
yeah, you can probably give them your address, and they will say, "Yeah, that's clearly you." Yeah,
I'm not voting in the election, and here is why. I'm going to share it. I was a little annoyed by this. So I did we're doing the whole absentee voting thing for North Carolina because that's where our registration is still at. So this is the shit that North Carolina requires now for me to be able to vote. I have to send with this a copy of my photo ID. I have to get it notarized. It had to be received by the 29th. It had to be notarized, and there's some other thing where it was going to cost like $20. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm like,
there you go. See, I mean, that's what I'm telling you. Some states are totally okay with going fucking next level on voter ID, and then others are no, we can't require any voter ID because reasons. I saw a good post though. Is like what you don't need an ID for: voting. What you do need an ID for is like going to the doctor, going to the movies, going to fucking like the gym, like blah 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 blah. And there's like 3 pages of like things you need to show legal ID for, and some stupid retarded stuff. And
to borrow a book from
only
the
a
Republican
problem. They're the ones saying you should have ID. Democrats apparently are saying you don't.
Democrats are the ones that are advocating that you don't need to have ID.
Why?
The allegation is that it's too difficult for some people to go and get a government issued ID because, generally speaking, the only way to do that is to go to the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles. And you can get, even if you don't have a driver's license, you can get an ID card that just says, and so, and you have to take, your birth certificate or your social security card and a piece of mail or something and be like, again,
over there?
Yeah, we have.
Most people don't have passports.
Yeah, most people don't have passports, but most people do have some.
Everyone here has a passport, pretty much.
Yeah, like we don't get issued a passport when we step out of the womb. Like
my children have passports. Like, yeah.
But the one argument for not requiring photo ID for voting is that voting is a right; it's not a privilege. So that I get that argument. That's
right, but it's a right to a U.S. citizen.
Correct.
If you can't prove your citizenship,
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Right.
So I looked up some quick gun stats. The number of guns in the United States surpassed the number of people in the United States in 2008.
It did that way before then. That's fucking bullshit.
Well, it's saying that there's 393
guns that they knew about.
Yeah. There's 393 million guns and 326 million people. There's 120.5 guns for every 100 residents here.
Yeah, I have enough for my neighborhood.
Yeah, pretty much everyone does. If you run out of guns, your neighbor has guns.
If you run out of guns, some shit's going really wrong.
Can we turn this into a gun conversation? What guns does everyone have?
Oh, you want to see what I just got?
Oh, nice try, Fed.
My new.
Well, what do you want? You want rifles? You want handguns? You want shotguns? You want
collector's items or everyday?
I start with collector's.
How about these guns?
Oh, there we go.
Whoa! I didn't bring my tickets to that gun show. Trim. Calm down.
We're working Josh up. We're working them up here.
But no, collector's items. No, that's a good place to start. Like a musket from.
I've got a cool
war or something.
I actually have some pretty cool old replica black powder rifles.
Okay,
Did
well,
you know?
right, okay.
Did you know
With
that
a little
in the
whip
United
on it,
States?
and you.
No, they're like fucking 5-6 feet tall. Like they're huge, man.
Do you know? I knew Chris would have something like to hand as well, not even like in a display cabinet. It's just in his
I'll tell you what, Josh, can you get pellet guns where you are?
We get pellet, like BB guns or air rifles.
Well, pellet, kind of like an air rifle.
A little 410 shotgun, Chris.
That's all we get. You can get shotguns over here. Farmers have
12
shotguns.
gauge.
I could get a shotgun license if I wanted.
Get yourself.
This is an 1863 Hopkins and what? Allen.
Have you fired it?
Yeah.
Hell no, dude. It's a falling back receiver. What the whole back of the receiver drops down. That's where you'd load a cartridge. Single shot. This thing would be dangerous as shit with a modern cartridge.
Yeah.
But it's cool because it's as old as the house.
That is cool. Did you know in the United States you can make your own gun? Anyone can make their own gun. You just can't sell it.
Oh, he froze for me. I can't see.
Who froze for you? Are you freezing, Josh?
Yeah, maybe I
can hear.
No,
I can hear everybody else.
Drinking. Oh, maybe it was Trim.
No, yeah, no, I don't know. But can you hear us now, Josh?
I can hear. Yeah, I can hear. Yeah, I can hear you all now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can manufacture your own guns in the United States. You just can't. Well, not sell them. You can't transfer them. That's the legal term for it. Transfer.
So if you wanted to murder someone, you can make your own gun, and it'd be.
I mean, if you have all the equipment.
Yeah. I mean, you can 3D print most
that
of it.
would make you stick out as like this unlicensed gun. And
Not really. Like people have like loading stuff like for reloading their own cartridges and everything. So you can make your own ammunition. That's a very common thing. And then you can 3D print a lot of like receivers and barrels and things like that nowadays.
Most of the manufacturers too, if you're looking at like a AR-15, the only part that matters is the part that's serialized on the gun. So it's the lower receiver on the AR-15. So the way that they get around that is they sell what's called an 80% lower receiver. They'll machine it out to 80% complete. And all you have to do is drill a couple holes in it and that's it. You can build a whole AR-15 out of it and it's unregistered. It's all yours.
But I mean, but still, you've always got a signature of the.
Well, you got ballistics on the barrel. They can tie it back to you, but they got to get the gun.
But your gun is not registered to anywhere.
Yeah. There's no serial number from the factory that it came from or anything else. Yeah, so
the numbers that we pull on this data, the 393 million. What's that?
This is where we don't want blockchain. You know, like
But the 393 million guns doesn't include the unregistered or the 80% lowers that were completed into full guns.
Yeah, half of my guns I built.
Yeah.
It's way cheaper. Well, that can actually be quite the opposite. But it's easy for me because instead of spending $5,000 on a badass rifle, I can spend $100 here, spend $50 there, build up the parts to build the thing that I want to build, and then when I get everything together, I put it together.
Have you done any 80% lowers?
Oh yeah. I got an AR in there. It's 80. That my Glock 43 I carry every day is an 80.
Oh, the feds are now coming.
Yeah. So you're
my Glock 43 it's already been barrel tested by the police department here when I got arrested for shooting that coyote in the back. So it took me about 3 months or so to get that gun back.
So Chris, you're living you're South Carolina, is that right?
Indiana.
Oh, India. Okay, that didn't help me. But so wherever you are, can you like open carry or is it concealed carry?
Yeah, we have Indiana's constitutional carry, so you can conceal carry or open carry legally.
I didn't know.
Like open carry, that could be just like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
As long as it's visible and like holstered.
Yeah,
so it has to be visible then.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Well, that's what open carry is.
Oh yeah, open carry. Yeah, you can't
concealed carry. So in Arizona, we actually no longer need a license for concealed carry. So the cops have the right to suspect that everybody has a gun on them at all times.
There's nothing wrong with having a gun if it's legal, though, right? They can't stop you. I've seen enough YouTube.
No, but it gives them a probable cause to do a search and induce suspicion.
And in Florida,
just because you're doing something that's already legal.
Well, it was one of those things where it made all the gun people happy because they didn't have to register and get a license to concealed carry anymore. But it kind of also gave the cops down south license to be racist and a probable cause. You must be armed, so I need to extract you from the vehicle.
So you've got a gun. So let's have a look.
Yeah.
Well, more Mexicans around here, but yeah, same difference.
So in Florida is concealed carry except for when you're on your property, in your business, or you're hunting or fishing. You can open carry in those circumstances. So people
that makes sense.
See videos, yeah, but you'll see videos of people carrying a fucking fishing pole down the road with an AR-15 strapped up over there.
Which is just
reactions.
That's just asking for conflict.
Oh yeah. That's just it's being dumb, but they are using the law.
But AR-15 is something you can buy when you're like 16 or whatever. Or
there's nothing special about an AR-15. AR-15 is just a regular rifle.
Yeah, but
it's actually short for age restricted to 15. AR-15.
No, well,
I'm not sure that's accurate, but
AR-15.
But I like it. It sounds good.
Because you're too young to have a handgun. But you can have an AR-15, then surely
no pistol grip.
That's
anything that has a pistol grip on it. You can't have.
You have to be an adult for pistol grip.
So you can be 18 and buy like a shotgun, for example, that doesn't have a pistol grip.
Right, okay, right.
And then I think 21 for a handgun and anything with a pistol grip on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I just remember Paige said in an interview, it's like, like obviously I thought I needed a gun to protect myself, so I wanted a handgun, but I couldn't buy a handgun. But I was able to buy something like he said. I'm sure he said AR-15 or something like that, and it was like. Well,
but again, an AR-15 is just a specific type of rifle that uses a specific type of ammo, so it's not that much different than a 30-06 or a 22 or.
But it's a long barrel, I guess.
Yeah, it's just a rifle. It's just a long gun.
Yeah. So I suppose it makes it harder to just. Because a handgun you can just pull out and you could kill 5 people in a room in like seconds. Whereas
the AR-15 is tricky because sometimes they're classified as pistols depending on the barrel.
Depends on the grip and the length and everything else. Yeah. So it's just a highly configurable gun kind of like genre is the AR-15.
Right.
And so you can make them look like military grade hardware, even though they're not. They're not actually like the M16 or an actual like assault rifle that actually qualifies that way, but you can make it look like they are essentially, or you can make it look like an old ranch rifle. Like you can trick it out however you want.
Have you guys ever shot an M16?
Oh yeah, I've done the 50 caliber and everything else. We have the big shooting ranges out here.
The full auto. That's the cool part.
Yeah. You got to do the full auto.
Call of Duty. I've got the full auto on Call of Duty. It controls quite nice. Little recoils, not so bad. It's one of my favorites.
It's expensive to shoot one of those. You'll burn through about $70 in 2 seconds.
Yep.
Oh right. Well, yeah. God knows what I did on Call of Duty.
Yeah, they have a few of the shooting ranges here in Vegas where you can actually get like Uzis and Tommy guns and everything else. So you can do some of the cool old like little grease guns and shit. It's pretty neat.
That is cool. There was a lady that came into, we have a gun store up the road called Frog Bones. And the old lady's husband had passed away and she needed money for the funeral. And she went into Frog Bones and brought in 3 M16s. And the guy had bought them. So if you bought an M16 pre-1984, I think it was, it's legal. It's legal to own. You just have to get a tax stamp on it. And that's full auto. That's when the full auto ban came in. So they stopped selling full auto rifles and guns to civilians. And if you own one from before the ban, you get to keep it. No problem. Or you can buy one from pre-1984. Anyway, this lady brought 3 of them in and she's like, oh, I just need a little bit of money to cover my husband's funeral. You know, he paid $15 for these when he bought them brand new. and they offered her, I think they gave her like $40,000 a piece for the 3 rifles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because if you have them at a gun range and you're licensed and you can let people rent them out, that's just a fucking money printer, and then you take care of it. It'll just it's a workhorse of a gun.
I don't know if I'd want. I don't know if I'd want just random people shooting my, very.
Have you ever gone and like rented one of those guns at the range though? Like they're standing right fucking on you, and they will disarm you if you even put a finger out of line or point that barrel in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it's just
Bullet Barrel in Alabama is like that, but it's a badass place because you can rent anything under the damn sun, but they stand there with like a hawk. What you have to do, there's safety course first. There's a whole bunch of protocol and shit involved with it.
That's the way ranges should be.
Right, and then they take it away from you. They go and clean it, and they fucking make sure it's all done right. So it's they're just passing ammo through it. But yeah, like they have places out here you can shoot the Barrett 50 cal and all sorts of cool shit. So
that is cool.
So talking of guns, actually, it was something I replied to a Hosky post. He had a meme of Spaceman holding a gun to another.
Oh, like it always has been, sort of thing. Yeah.
But then I was sort of like, well, would a gun fire in space? And then so Hosky's reply was like, well, yeah, the gunpowder doesn't need oxygen. I said, okay. And I thought, well, what about the gun itself? So how
sort of not.
And I wanted to tag Ann because didn't you work in aerospace?
Yeah. Well, the thing in space.
The thing is, you would go both directions. So the bullet would go equal this way.
Like
you would get.
I was on about the actual mechanics because there'd be no lubricant in the gun because that would evaporate in space. And would the metal itself hold up? Because that become sticky or brittle depending on the metal. So
not that fast, so it would last a good long while.
And Anthony, and I thought he's probably got better things to do than
no friction in a vacuum, right? So you need the friction to be able to actually propel the bullet forward because you're putting force against it. So you see what I'm saying? So
but the hammer's doing that, right? Isn't it?
The hammer's using like your spring mechanical to like drive the pin forward, but once it hits the pin, you're triggering a spark in the gunpowder, and so that's going to explode from that central point, and it's going to push equally in every direction, which is both sides of the barrel. And so
Newton's third law, I think it is.
Right, so the bullet's going to go out at like half speed of what we would be used to, and you're going to go flying backwards at the same speed or whatever.
So you could use a rifle as like a propulsion mechanism in space.
You can fart, bro.
Haven't you seen the XKCD guy? He wrote the What If, or is it possible? Something like that book, where he answered the question, can you actually like drive your car by shooting a machine gun backwards? Try to calculate.
Did it work? Shopping carts and air blowers and things.
Yeah, I mean, like technically, as long as you can get enough thrust out of it, like
you have low enough, quite a regular,
low enough coefficient of drag, you're good to
go. We solved this problem with space coins. We said if you guys want to do infinite backflips, all you got to do is jump up and fart and lean back.
I mean,
and be in outer space.
Yes, you have to be in space. Jump up in space, lean back, and let it rip.
And be in a perpetual backflip because of one fart.
Space Coins is making a bit of a resurgence at the moment.
We gave up the account. We gave the account to a community member. So
community takeover on the X account. So
who's the community member? Can I ask?
We'll never tell.
No.
Oh.
They have not chosen to dox themselves yet, I think. So unless you're in the Space Coins Telegram, and then maybe you can figure it out.
Well, I've been there it turned out because I followed the link.
You haven't.
I turned out and I was like, I was actually already here the whole time. I've been here for I don't know how long, when I joined, but it must have been a long time ago. But
right, 2021, early sometime.
In crypto, I'm sure you've all got a million fucking Telegram groups. Yeah, exactly.
I've got a million archived Telegram groups, not to mention the ones that are still technically active. So like,
I haven't actually gone as far as archiving them.
I don't archive anything.
Some of the old ones, like the Cardano official and like the old like SPO channels that we used to have, like it used to be Telegram, right back in 2019, 2020 for the HTN and the ITN days. Like that was the only way to talk to anybody and get support. Like none of us did Discord and shit. Like fucking,
it was hardly around at that time.
Well, no, Discord was around, but it was gamers, right? It wasn't until this NFT thing that people were like, "Oh yeah, you got to start having a Discord, everything." And it was like, "Why? Like we have Telegram. Like we're good. Like what else you need?" So.
But I mean, obviously, there's the Cardano best practices. You're all still in there, right?
I'm still technically in there, but I archived it a long time ago. I didn't feel like listening to everybody fucking sitting there and chatting and getting notifications all the time on my phone and everything. So I was like, I don't need that.
You know, I get so many notifications of all sorts of shit now. Like my Discord is like 3,000 odd. Like,
no, yeah, I gave up a long time ago on that.
I don't even
now I mute everything and unfollow the
Luckily,
channels.
I turned off notifications, but I still see the number of like thousands just going up, and it's like half of these things. I mean, I don't even know what they are. Like they were popular at the time, and then like most things a lot of things just seem to disappear. Like the female SPO of the Forbes female SPO of the year.
Yeah, Shweta of K-Blocks and everything. Yeah, I don't know.
The pool's still going. But where's she been?
Price is not. Why is the project not doing better?
The project hasn't updated for 2 years.
That was such a meme. What? How did that guy end up there? In that position, like
well, people forget that there was all of a sudden a huge content vacuum about 2 weeks before the summit, and so they had to basically call up the C Squad to fill in gaps in the schedule because a particularly well-known major sponsor pulled out at the last minute. No names, but so that created a big gap where there was supposed to be a lot of panels. And that were no longer there, so they had to fill in the gaps with whoever was basically available and willing to stand up and raise their hands.
And had a speaker license, because you got to get a speaker license.
Right. And had a speaker license for Dubai, because that's the other big thing.
Permit. What? Speaker license?
You're not allowed to speak publicly in Dubai.
Yeah. It's like months notice.
And they have to know what you're going to be talking about, and if you go off script or over time or anything else, then it could be bad. For the most part, it's fine. Like unless you're actually being seditious or something, like they're not going to give you a hard time. But it is a hoop that you have to jump.
Attention seeker. That's made me not want to go to Dubai.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm not allowed to talk in Dubai. I mean, Kyle. Out in public, I mean,
because there's things like you can't cuss, right? Like cursing in public, and Kyle's like, "Fuck this, fuck that, fuck you."
I was gonna say, Kyle, probably best for his own safety. He doesn't speak publicly in Dubai.
Sorry, he's just an American.
Yeah, they're special people. Hey, Daniel, in the chat there. Good evening, rebels. So
I can't see the chat.
You got to switch over to the comments instead of the private chat.
Or just click off hide chat. Yeah.
Yeah, if you do that, then yeah.
Wasn't Tap Tools, the Tap Tools guys were going to come through?
Allegedly.
They allegedly always come through.
57% of the time, it works every time.
That's right.
Oh yeah, so it's Halloween. It's almost November, so should we talk about the November plans or?
Yeah, is crypto going to pump then? November doesn't.
November, is it going to be November or because we got like Crabtober,
November?
November. We're going to put the no in November.
I'm just hoping that it's not November.
Yeah.
I think it really.
It might be because people are going to be selling to buy Christmas gifts, right? And then so.
and tax season.
Rather than sell your crypto to buy Christmas gifts, just give it the Christmas gift. Get a Pooh card, give it to your loved ones, get them their first wallet. That's the better way.
I gave my nephew, Ada. For one of his.
Did he just instant dump it? Did he just turn around and sell it?
No. He kept.
It's like, another fucking airdrop. Fucking get rid of the shit.
Saved. I bought his name as an Ada handle. Like
nice, yeah.
So you can actually just get because his name's Bertie. It's quite a common name. So I kept hold of it for a couple of years. So I was waiting for his 18th birthday, but I didn't give it to him. So now I'm waiting for his 21st. So when it becomes more valuable as a.
There you go. By then he'll be set. So. Did you at least get it all set up and staked and everything?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's staked to me. None of my family do that. Like I told you, my family's been stank. Like CC, is it CCV? Dan
Gambardello, or
yeah. My brother fucking staked to him instead of me, and it was like,
Oof.
just I think there was some ISPO going on, but still, it was like, fuck.
Right? Yeah. Fucking Dan doesn't need any extra stake. Give it to me, man. Like, give it to support your local small pool. That's also your brother-in-law. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
You'll get a block every couple of months. Chill out.
Oh yeah. So are the midnight sessions a thing yet? Not yet. So they're actually getting rebranded to the November sessions. And so yeah, should we release it, Kyle?
What's that? Yeah.
What are the midnight sessions?
See,
Well,
Josh wants to know. So
okay, so we're calling them November sessions. That's where we're going. Essentially, I mean, fuck, we might as well break it down. I'll call it how it is, how I see it. I think that the constitutional conventions that Intersect held were a farce. I don't think the community was properly given an opportunity to vet the Constitution. It was something that was written behind closed doors and very high-level secrecy. And then when it came time to publicize it, right, to socialize it among the community, there was this big effort. We're going to do all these constitutional workshops all over the fucking world. Everybody, let's go. And then come the workshops, it was very structured, very guided. We had very limited room to move or scope. And that's fucking bullshit, right? That's not who we are. That's not how we operate. And then when you get into the nuance of it, there's just a lot of verbiage there that allows for a lot of shit. And so, I was recently elected to the product committee. And the way I'm looking at things is, how the fuck do we win? How do we really, really win? We've got a lot of people in the space who are DeFi experts who, and I read this comment straight up from one of them. I'm not going to name names, but it's like, hey, we're not going to get there with the transaction volume anyways. No other chain has. I'm sorry, that's not what the fuck we came to do. We didn't come to not hit product market fit with everybody else, right? We have to truly figure out how to win. And that means, A, we need to be able to support 100x the transaction volume we have, which is impossible. But B, do it in a way that doesn't fuck everything up. If somebody hits product market fit on mainnet, it's going to ruin the UX for everybody else, right? Like one application blows it out of the water, everything else sucks. So it really means that, like, the stuff that Trim's working on, Hydra stuff, sidechain implementations, things that can roll up to the L1, leveraging the value prop of settlement transferability while validating that L2 business model or integrity of what the data they're doing, such that the latency or time to settle doesn't affect the UX. All right. And so basically what we're going to do now is, I guess Intersect is flying people out, the delegates out to Kenya and where else is the other location? Costa Rica, for whatever, some session on how to, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe it's a rehearsal or a pre-rehearsal, but this idea that we really haven't truly discussed the Constitution in a meaningful way. That's the way I feel. And it's just not me driving this. I'm not alone. There are a lot of community members that have taken this Constitution and like, what's too wordy? There's too much crap here. There's a bunch of shit we can't enforce. There's a bunch of room for us to justify, giving money to partner chain initiatives, if you will, things like that, where it's like, whoa. We've got very, 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 very finite runway. Very finite runway. All comes down to we've got to get transaction volume up within about 3 to 5 years. And why it's important is we've got reward reserves, right? Like, so the max supply of Cardano is going to be reached by giving out SPO rewards, right? Giving out staking rewards. That's a reserve. And the bulk of those rewards comes from that reserve. A very tiny fraction, like maybe 1% or so, is coming from transaction fee revenue. Once those reserves deplete, it's the transaction fee.
Sorry.
Yeah, less than, roughly. It's not a lot. So all the rewards. Yeah, transactions. It's negligible. So your rewards that you get for your stake pool is negligible for transaction fees. When the reserves are gone, we're relying on those transaction fees. So if we don't get those up, the whole system comes down, right? And so that's just from an infrastructure perspective. But and then also what happens to the treasury? They're looking at a budget of 300 to 500 million this year, something wild. It's a wild number they're floating. You look at that's a third of the fucking ADA in the treasury, roughly. And so
Kind of, but it is also actually sustainable with the amount that is currently going into the treasury from the withdrawal.
But the next year it's going to be less and less and less. So the point is we have a very
but if we're doing our job right, the value goes up, and so.
Well, yeah, but if the value goes up, we have to decrease the transaction fee revenue. Like I did that in my head. We haven't modeled it yet, but here's my thought, Adam. If the value of ADA goes up, we've got to decrease the fees proportionally, right? So target volumes should remain relatively constant as far as the transactions that we need. That's kind of the math I did in my head. I haven't papered it out. But the point being is that the Constitution right now opens the door for everybody and his fucking mom to come in with all their pet projects and shit we don't need, and we've got to get laser fucking focused. That's my opinion on it. So back to these November sessions, we're going to do our own constitutional sessions as a community. We're going to come in, and anybody who wants to participate that is an alternate or a delegate, and then anybody can come and watch and hang out, but the alternates and delegates we're going to debate it. We're going to hash it out. We're going to start from ground zero. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to curtail people and say, hey, here's what we're going to talk about. Only this little section is of importance. Like, we're really going to shop this to the community in the right way.
You're going to do this online, or is this like
yeah. It's going to be meetings. I think, Adam, we're going to do it every night at 8 p.m. starting tomorrow, or we're going to do it twice. I think we should probably do it twice, 2 or 3 times a week, maybe. We'll see how it goes. But
yeah, we're going to at least do 2 or 3 times a week, and that's why it was going to be every day at midnight UTC. Is why it was initially, when we were discussing the idea, it was called the midnight sessions, but. For now, it's essentially between now.
That's a bit like
all of November. We have
I've got 3 kids. I've got to be in bed before midnight.
So
tough it out, Josh. Come on, maybe we'll do it every
once in a while. Times around throughout the week.
Because some of us have jobs to do, man. Like, what do you do? We got to pick up kids and shit. Like 5 p.m. is always a good time.
You've got jobs to do, but yeah, me staying up, we getting online at midnight.
Dude, just fucking figure it out. So maybe we'll alternate it a little bit or whatever. And that was the other thing, right? So but hey, it's always midnight somewhere.
Your numbers before you go, your numbers. I think there's 350 million ADA going in over the course of this year, and they want to pull 500 million out.
300 to 500. But what's next year? And the next, we're approaching. Right. We're going to be I get where we're coming from, but let's go back and set the tone. We're not going to be adversarial with this. We need to get a budget funded this first year. We can always come back and revisit it. Like, we understand that there's operational stuff that doesn't need to be interfered with. There needs to be continuity. Intersect is going to run out of funding if we don't get budget passed and things like that. And so this is going to be a constructive session. I think the high level goal is to draw a dang line in the sand and say there's a firm demand that we go with something different, or just make the community voice heard is essentially what I think we need to come down to.
Well, the biggest thing is that we have, Intersect, IOG, whoever has paid for all these workshops has done a great job. I think it's been over like 2,000 participants now of getting people out and involved. And all of these, I think I did the math. There's been an average of like 15 to 25 attendees per workshop at 65 workshops across 50 different countries, which is pretty much representative of about a quarter of the planet, if not more than that in terms of population. And they've all selected.
Those workshops are in London, I have to point out.
No, there was one. There was one in London and one in Edinburgh.
I know there's definitely one in Edinburgh. Was there definitely one in London?
Yeah, there was one. Upstream. The Upstream guys hosted one in London.
Well, they host events. But I didn't know if it was.
So the big thing was, and that was kind of the other kind of kick in the nuts, was that a lot of people raised their hands and said, "Hey, I would like to," but there was only so much funding to go around. Right. But nobody else said, "Hey, I didn't get the funding," well, with the exception of Nicholas Cerny in Vienna, who said, "Hey, you guys aren't going to fund me. That's okay. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to still host it." But I mean, granted, he's from CF, so like maybe there was some other budget that came from somewhere else. But nobody has so far said, "Fuck you. I don't need your 12,000 ADA. I'm still going to host a workshop, and I'm still going to elect a delegate, and we're still going to talk about this."
I mean, I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I know Upstream because they seem to run all the London sort of summits.
They got their finger on the London.
Yeah,
pulse.
And they're great. They're great, and they let me on stage, so obviously I love.
There you go. Yeah, you love them. So
yeah. But
no accounting for taste, I suppose.
So I mean, the point.
I'm pretty sure. They may have done the governance thing. I may have just missed it or couldn't make it, but that's another thing. When you've got kids, it's hard to pin yourself down.
I'm fairly confident because I remember some of our friends in Ireland being a bit upset that the UK got 2 and Ireland got shafted. So,
yeah, I mean, but the idea is, it's back to the notion of this is, you know, I think that if we do this right, this could be for good discussion, and we could frame really good discussions for when the delegates meet in Argentina. We want this to be constructive. We want the community to be adequately represented, and I don't feel like that's happened. And I'm just not talking for myself. You know, we have, you know, Adam talks to a lot of people. You know, I talk to a lot of people. It's a common theme, you know, when you have a constitution that was pretty much released, what was it, July, and it was we put pressure
on that. I think that in August was when it
was August.
It was like right before the workshops began. It was like, surprise! Here's the constitution that you're going to be talking about.
I think we went through it on SpacePlace, and it just got ripped apart. Like,
yeah. I mean, like, you look at it, and there's just so much stuff you can't enforce, and it's like, okay, that's one side of it. But then, you know, Johnny made a really interesting tweet last night that there's all these, you know, mention of being, you know, what was it, GDPR compliant. I don't remember what he said, but something.
That's not actually in the Constitution. That's in the tenets that Agalos released in terms of like the tenets of.
I was on the though, isn't it? GDPR.
It's EU. Yeah, it's an EU regulation. But anybody that has any website that touches the EU technically has to be GDPR compliant. Otherwise, the EU can come after us. So
yeah. I mean, I get it, but you know what?
It's the reason you have to click accept or deny all cookies on every fucking web page. That's the only thing that's accomplished
than that, because even that, sometimes if you've got APIs on your website and things, there are cookies automatically. You have no control over those cookies. Right. So when you're accepting, you have to change. So now then you've got to be really careful about, you're not declining all cookies. You're just
only tracking cookies or some cookies. Yeah, it's fucking
And you know that
a classic case of EU government, any government oversight over bureaucratizing something. Like a good intent,
and the EU is bad for it.
Kind of a mess in practice. You know, like good intent, mess in practice. So
yeah, I mean, I am for the EU. I mean, we had Brexit and whatever, so we're not part of it anymore, but. Is still
front and center. Good. Yeah, tell us how you really feel about Brexit, Josh.
Well, yeah. I mean, talk about put me on the spot, but yeah, no. There were downsides to the EU, you know, but the downside wasn't immigration. The downside was bureaucracy, regulation, and which stifled innovation, really. So.
Yeah. So point being, we want to have like an open forum, particularly for these community delegates that have already been selected from their local communities to go to Argentina in December, and really give those people the opportunity. Because if we compare the Constitutional Convention to the Continental Congresses that have happened like here in the U.S., these things didn't happen in a week. They didn't happen in an 8-hour session. Like, you can't go through a huge document with this much significance in 8 hours or 3 days or whatever that they're scheduling in Argentina. So we need time for the delegates to talk about it, them to bring their own concerns and some of the things that we couldn't address during the workshops because there wasn't enough time. Like we skipped, I think, lunch or some of the breaks in Puerto Rico. So we got it down to like 6 hours.
Oh my God.
But
that's a big deal. Fucking missing tacos is a big deal, bro.
Yeah, we got the tacos after the fact or whatever, but you know, like we got it down to 6 hours in Puerto Rico, but it was 8 hours in San Diego. It was 8 hours in Oslo. It was 8 grueling hours, and we barely scratched the surface of this document. And that's how big of a scope it is. So we need more time, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, but ultimately, we as a human race, we have a history of governance. We can look at governance going back from now to fucking 2,000 years or whatever. We can cherry pick what works and what doesn't, you know.
Well,
history is there. It shouldn't be too.
We get that, but what's happened is we've got a document that was created mostly by a single entity.
But it was just a draft, though. Wasn't it really?
Well, is it? But
you read it. We read it. We clearly were like, this is full of shit.
We're beelining towards ratifying that draft, and that draft edits
because that draft that was submitted also came with an addendum that said do not submit pull requests or changes or anything. The only way that you're allowed to contribute or comment is if you go to one of these workshops, and these workshops are only going to be able to talk about very small, narrow facets of the document.
It was a sham, in my opinion. It was an absolute sham. It was great organizing the community. It was great getting the community together. But to me, it felt like, hey, we're going to do all these workshops to legitimize this fucking crony ass thing we put together. And I don't appreciate that at all. You know, I earn all my ADA here. My business partners earn a living here. This is, you see what I'm saying? We're not sitting here taking treasury money and spending. We earn revenue here. My business partners and I have driven more transaction volume than Cardano, IO, and CF fucking combined. We've got stake in it, you know. And I'm just saying that's us, right? That there's other contributors here who do just as much, if not more, and none of them were given an adequate or viable voice. Hey, Matt, good to see you, buddy. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. I thought it was. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
No, I mean, it needs some sort of worldwide consensus coming together. Like, I couldn't make it to Dubai. You know, I know those SPOs were getting a free ticket, I think.
Well, that was the other thing that like we've tried to do
like that and just go off to Dubai.
Right. But that's the thing that we've tried to do, like, and why we've been talking about the Constitution so much on SpacePlace is that there was no virtual attendance option presented to anybody at any time.
Could you imagine 3,000 SPOs on one chat?
Which I don't know why, because they had the Cardano summit during Shelley. I think it was the Shelley hard fork.
Right. Yeah. Like,
was that Wyoming?
No. It was before Wyoming.
Oh, it was the 2020 thing, the all virtual summit. Yeah,
I didn't, where people were walking around all corny in virtual land. Yeah, I didn't do that.
No, that was the 2021 summit. Like, but
yeah, that
on
was
the back of the sea turtle thing. And,
yeah. The one before that was, oh, you got your titles back, Adam.
Yeah, that's why Josh was popping up full screen. Chris has been sitting there tweaking on the settings in the background. So.
It's like some of the stuff changed since the last time I was in here, so I was exploring what they changed in the
yeah. So essentially, we want to create that forum, start the discussion, and then allow anybody to bring up any portion of the document that they think needs to be reviewed or discussed or whatever, without being narrowly kind of shooted into a certain point of focus.
Where do regular people come into this? Because regular people really haven't got a fucking clue what's going on. My brother, I told my brother about the WMT, you know, going to WTMX. You know, he's like, never fucking heard about it. And I'm like, oh, you got to fucking do it now. You've only got a short window. And it's like,
I mean, it's a stakeholder-based system.
He does it, but when it comes to governance, there's lots of people who are just normal holders who actually, you know, clued up.
And that's
politicians themselves who really understand governance.
Right, but that's the other part of this is like that. These workshops have been recorded. There's been data and feedback recorded, but it's been going through to
people are going to go and watch that. Like, even I'm not going to go back.
No. They haven't been publicized at all though. So like, who is actually getting access to that data and then allegedly using it to refine the draft of the Constitution? None of this is happening publicly. This is the complete opposite of building in public, is what we're dealing with right now. We're being gate kept and allowed to peek through a peep show, little cracks in the wall. You can, if you can take your turn, you can put your eye up and maybe see a booby or something if you peep in. But that's the only exposure we're getting to this process right now. This is not building in public. It needs to be public. Otherwise it loses all legitimacy. And if you're talking about the core government document, it needs to be open to everybody to come in and participate.
But I mean, I think, going back to your comment earlier about you couldn't submit changes and stuff. Imagine it was on GitHub. Then you've got, let's say extreme 3,000 SPOs all submitting different things to different stuff. I mean, like,
We get it. We're trying to organize the thoughts, and ultimately, it may come to fruition of we may actually go get petition signatures or something from the SPO and DREP community and constituents and stakeholders, or
do it bite by bite. Like you could do it bite by bite, take a little section,
right? And yeah, that's the thought. Like, let's look at this paragraph and talk about that.
Yeah,
let's refine that, and then once we're good, move forward.
Yeah.
And ultimately,
be ordered in the correct way, because then you have some things that then contradict other things that you've already agreed to and stuff. So it would rather be thought.
I mean, rather than going out and maybe getting signatures, ultimately, what it probably would end up being is an info action on chain, and we let everybody vote, right? And that's true governance.
And but give people enough time to, so people like my brother, he's dumb enough to fucking stake with CCV, so he ain't got a fucking clue what's going on. How is he gonna know? Like, on what sort of, because he's a lawyer himself, actually.
Is he delegated to a DREP, or is he going to be his own DREP? This isn't like Catalyst.
No, he's nothing.
Or then he doesn't have a fucking stake. If he doesn't have the, you know what I'm saying? If he's not going to delegate his stake to somebody who votes.
No, he's got stake, and I'm sure he'll pick a DREP or something eventually.
If he doesn't have stake, if he doesn't take the action to delegate his vote.
Yeah, but if he's not delegating to a DREP, like, surely that's down to, say, you, Carl. You have got to reach my brother and say, you need to vote for a DREP. If you want,
well, you need to tell your brother to watch more SpacePlace, Josh. This is what I'm hearing. Okay,
so I'm taking him as an example. Who's external, because he's someone who's bought crypto, but he ain't got a fucking clue what's going on.
Well, he's even said to me,
"Oh God, it's ADA, but what the fuck do I do with it?" And it's like, well, what do you want to do with it? And he's like, I don't know.
Why is the project not doing well?
Yeah, why is the price not going up? It's like,
it's like being a shareholder though in a company. If you have stock in a company,
well, careful. SEC may be listening.
Well, no, it's all. I mean, through like say Robinhood or Ameritrade or whatever.
Right. Yeah. At this point, like you can say that we are all stakeholders, which is the exact same thing as saying we all have an equal share. Depending on how many shares we hold, we have a vested interest in each other, making this ecosystem grow. But people can have that passively and just be like, I'm going to buy it, and then hopefully Tesla goes up, and in 10 years I'll sell it and I'll be rich, and that's okay. And then other people are like, hey, who's going to be on the board of this company? I want to vote. I want to know that they're making good decisions, and if the CEO is not doing good, I'm kicking him out. And so
some people are
just number go up, some are more involved.
Yeah,
basically
exactly. You can vote.
Because I'm more interested in getting, the general public, not just bringing people to Cardano from nowhere, but just like when they get here, they're like, what do they do? I want to get them involved into.
I mean, that's still.
I want them trading on dexes. I want them.
But that's a problem that, like, what Kyle will also always say is that there's not product market fit. Like, there's very few people in the world globally that are actually interested in PvP trading shitcoins against each other. And so we've already saturated that market throughout the entire cryptocurrency space. Like, there's literally no reason my sister, my brother-in-law, any of these other they do not want to come and participate in any of this DeFi bullshit that you're telling me is so much better than the old system. They have zero interest, and there's nothing there for them aside from you might get rich. Like, unless you're a crazy gambling degen, that's the only attractive prop to that. So, like, this whole be your own bank and everything, like, nobody has actually nailed that. And so nobody has found product market fit. It doesn't matter who has a big TVL. That's just a new electronic penis measuring competition. Like, who's got the fastest speed run time in Doom? It doesn't really fucking matter at the end of the day. And none of the ladies are impressed.
I care. No. To all the Doom speedrunners out there, I do care.
Yeah, no, we get it. That work is going to open up a lot of doors to help us get closer to finding that fit, right? It gives us tools that we need to get there. But we have
deadlines as well, haven't we?
Yeah, well, I mean, some people can see kind of like into the future in terms of like what the potential of the technology is, and understand that, we have to go through these rough growing pains. But, saying that pump.fun is the pinnacle of blockchain technology is really doing a tremendous disservice to where the technology can go.
Oh yeah, let's get on our next million users. Yay, that's going to make it fucking easy for adoption to come.
Right.
I mean, I would really like to see blockchain take over the voting. If you look at, voting in the United States right now, we haven't even made it to election day, and they're already picking up multiple cases of election fraud.
Well, alleging multiple cases of fraud.
I was going to say, is that real though? Because
I mean, the fact that you can't
now we don't know who to trust, right? Like we can't trust, we can't audit, we have to fucking have a trust bureau of somebody at some point.
Yeah, the fact that you can't audit the voting software or the hardware just tells you that it's subject to corruption right there.
Yeah, so for me, it's voting, it's government transparency, things like that we haven't even scratched the surface yet, and supply chain clarity and transparency. It's not PvP trading on DEXs and DeFi shit. Like that.
That's what I filled out on that. Did you guys fill out that intersect form that they sent out the other day?
Yeah, the survey that they should have sent out in Q1. Yeah, I filled that out.
Survey.
What? That shit should have been out in Q1. Sorry.
That's exactly what I put in the survey. What is the type of shit that you'd like to see on the blockchain? Voting, supply chain management, government spending, all that.
But all that we have to do it on an L2. It's just there's no fucking. I'm sitting at the voting booth. Oh, okay, your vote's gonna be recorded in 6 weeks. Like that's because there's so much data.
There's no blockchain, including all the fast ones and the centralized ones that could actually handle the entire population of the United States voting on November 5th.
That was like
nobody could handle that many transactions, right? And so, you would present, a weeks or months long backlog to get those transactions on chain. And so that's where we need scalability solutions have to happen.
Do you guys remember how bad
auditability, traceability, whether that's through hydras and gummy worms or Midgards and Leviathans and things like this, it needs something. But the L1 is our decentralized root of trust that allows us to have certain assumptions that trust has not been tampered with, or that document has not been tampered with.
Right. It validates the integrity of the scaling solution.
Yes.
The primary.
I think a part of the narrative that a lot of builders are kind of, especially, well, not even the builders, just like people in the ecosystem on Twitter, kind of forget is that, we're not just in the blockchain adoption phase of the world. We're in the digitization phase of the world. Like, there are so many things in the real world that aren't even digital, right? Like, there's so many low-hanging fruits that are just like literally anything digital would be better than the current solution. It doesn't have to be, the pinnacle of decentralization and permissionless and, auditability and traceability. We can do some trade-offs and it's still going to be a million times better than the current solution. Yeah. And I think, if we can pick like 5,000 of those applications, that's how we do adoption. We can sort of chase perfection to our death and let that be the enemy of done, right? And
I'd like to see
a really bad way of going about it.
Certificates of authenticity on the blockchain would be great. Proof of ownership, all of that.
I mean, I think all that's really good, but for adoption, you almost have to go in, you have to create a value prop for an industry. They have an added cost. So there has to be a huge value prop there that solves a big problem. And so what I think, and this is kind of a subset of applications that may win, are we create new economic opportunities for people. We give entrepreneurs incentives to build businesses. So, I guess one example would be the facet of a dojo that incentivizes people to create designs. You create a design, you put it out there, you can make money when somebody manufactures it, something like that. So that brings a new economic opportunity to people to say, okay, that's something I can do. Or say we create an L2 or a sidechain implementation that implements a very specific business model that an entrepreneur can then take and replicate in his specific geo. And then every entrepreneur in every geo could potentially replicate that. But creating opportunities that incentivize people to come and build businesses. Other than that, we've got to find a really big pain point that blockchain solves, so much so that an industry is like, fuck it, let's adopt this. And you'd think that would have
loads, though. There's loads of opportunities for that. Art, like, when I mean art, I don't mean NFTs. I mean, like, you know, who owns fucking Mona Lisa? Have an NFT.
Yeah,
like,
but the problem, how do you fucking, I mean, how do
it's
you attack?
legal?
Well, no, how do you, I mean, like RWAs, yay, but how the fuck, without inscribing the private key on the actual object, do you pair them? Like, am I losing my mind? Or
right, I could have a Mona Lisa NFT. Like, how do you know which Mona Lisa NFT is the legit original?
So, for example, if you were a manufacturer,
maybe I'm only talking about future work then that would have.
No, yeah, like, and so it's like blockchain can fix it,
on the
but
back and
how?
signed it. Yeah.
Look at the most counterfeited industries. You look at sneakers and watches. Those, if you're a manufacturer, say for example Rolex or Omega or Nike, and you guys produce a rare set of sneakers or whatever it is that you
for a watch, you have to inscribe the private key.
No, you wouldn't, because here's as the manufacturer,
essentially, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
well,
how are you going to guarantee?
Hang on, let him talk. He's trying to tell you. Shut up and listen.
So the value is then transferred to, let's just say for simplicity's sake, Rolex creates a policy and they mint NFTs for each of the Daytonas that they make in 2024. And every time you buy a Daytona, you get that NFT. The value is now held in that NFT because that proves you have a real Daytona watch. And you would never sell that Daytona watch without transferring the NFT. It's like the title to a truck.
Once they're actually linked, you would not buy one without the certificate of authenticity.
Because then you're buying a fake.
Right. Yeah, you're knowingly buying a fake if you buy it. Chris, you're muted, but nice try hollering there.
Yeah, that's how you avoid buying stolen goods or fake goods.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you need the NFT. Yeah.
Right. Well, show me the certificate of authenticity, the root of origin. This is why, like, what Zengate is doing,
and then
our friends over there with Palmyra and everything.
Yeah, buyers.
Yeah, and they can go to Rolex and be like, "Hey, is this legit?" And
that's it. It's easy proof.
So why hasn't anybody won there yet?
Well, fuck.
Because you need so much. Like, so. No, I mean, this is we saw a lot about it at the summit. We had ScanTrust there, who's actually has a really cool technology for non-counterfeitable QR codes, and they are working on the Georgian wine deal that everybody has belittled and like decried. But there's actually a lot of interesting tech that's that the CF people were talking about, and that was going into that. That's really going to say these are actually legit. These are the bottles.
Oh,
like somebody else could get a different bottle and put a different label on it, but here's tamper-proof ways, and it is on a blockchain, and it's proofed here. It's not a perfect be-all, end-all solution, but they have a mobile app that you can scan all your shit and be like, "Yep, legitimate bottle, fake bottle." Like, so, it's all time and money. That's every computer problem, right? If we throw enough time and/or money at the problem, we'll get there. There's the other big side of that, though, is how many users are actually clamoring for that. Like, so collector watches, collector shoes, and everything. There is a huge market for making sure I'm getting an authentic piece of that puzzle. But you know, we need something that's generic enough that it works for across a swath of industries, because nobody wants to go and install the Rolex app to verify that their Rolex is real.
There's nothing too bad with the Rolex app, because that Rolex app,
until it's every single product that you buy, you have to have a separate app, right? So it would be better if there was something that was more universal. It was just part of Android, that it came with iPhone or Android, and you just scan and it does a thing and you can trust it. And so
you could have the Rolex app, but it still interconnects with another sort of multi wallet.
It's going to create so much.
It goes in your
like, you would almost have to have a singular
and that's where the other important part of this is, these are what we're talking about here is blockchain solutions, not necessarily cryptocurrency solutions, because what you might actually be dealing with is a custodial wallet of some way so that we obfuscate a way that you don't actually need to use that fucking seed phrase and be your own bank. What you actually do is you have the Rolex app, and you register your watch when you buy it at the store, and that puts it into your account. And so the only way to transfer that is the other person has to also have the Rolex app, and you have to like tap it together and like both sign off that you're transferring the wallet or whatever. Like maybe that's the UX, so that you don't have to have a seed phrase and I have to type a big long code, and I have to check your address that's 800 characters long and make sure that the H
like
is in 4.
There's big business in counterfeit. So you're going to see fake Rolex apps spin up. You're going to see the asshole that sells fake Rolex to say, hey, install the fake Rolex app and here you go. Like, so there's
I know, not that one with the blue check mark next to it. Get the other one right below it. Like,
here's the link.
I mean, did you guys see what was going on with WMT as that was upgrading to WMTX?
I was trying to have a good day here, Josh. Not
but literally, as soon as you say, like, oh, can someone? I don't fully understand. How do I upgrade? Literally, I was getting phone calls.
Yeah, out of the fucking woodwork. It's like Twitter. If you say, like, I lost my seed phrase to my ledger, right?
And they were directing me to websites, and I was like, well, I'll have a look at the website. I know it's a scam, but I'll have a look. But
and they make it look compellingly like the real deal too. Is the dangerous part? Like they fucking really do.
Yeah, scary good. Yeah, and they do it with multiple things as well on the same site. Yeah, so that's probably the sort of thing you would get with Rolex. That's why WMT only did it for a short amount of time, I guess. It's because the scam was crazy. It could fall.
Well, now the scam's going to be like, did you miss the fucking migration?
Yeah.
Hey, we reopened it for a limited time at this special address, and that's actually going to cause more of a problem than having just an official fucking link on your official fucking website from your official company Twitter. So like,
it's so wild that they had like 2 weeks or something.
3 weeks.
It
was literally 21 days.
Like, well, no, because everyone also wanted to wait until got their staking thing.
Dump them on a DEX if you can.
If you didn't migrate, now you have to go like to their Discord and open a manual ticket with them and explain your extenuating circumstances for why you did not upgrade, and then hope that they will manually figure. Like,
a better solution than what I saw, which took me to their like contact us website, which was just like put your email address in.
Well, I mean, maybe that is. I haven't looked. I migrated, and yeah.
No, I migrated too, but I was looking into it for because Adapulse.
What was the point of the migration? What was the technical purpose?
I think it put it.
They want to go cross chain, right? Because they need to unlock. They need to reopen the minting policy to.
Yeah. So the previous policy was locked, so they couldn't burn, and so they're migrating. They're collecting back the old tokens into a new mintable, burnable on Cardano token, so that way you can migrate across and they can maintain a consistent quantity of supply across a multiple number of chains, sort of thing. So
there's a non-zero chance we can fish the keys for the new tokens?
No, I mean the new tokens are probably, I would hope, smart contract and multi-sig.
Smart contract. Well, you know that's smart contract. You have to go through that when you mint them, but I was just about to ask: the original WMT, there was no smart contract involved. As far as I'm aware.
That was just a simple native script.
Native token. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyone could have made that. And then with the upgrade, I saw people on Twitter, it's not really an upgrade. What are they upgrading? It's like, well, it's part of a smart contract now. So I guess that's the upgrade.
That's not necessarily an upgrade. I mean, like, so it is nice to be able to mint and burn. I think for them the upgrade is more to go cross chain and get some,
I mean,
get access to different ecosystems and everything. Obviously they've been fishing in the ETH waters and now looking at Base and Avalanche and a few other things.
Have they been fishing in ETH waters?
Yeah, they were going to spin up a whole fucking EVM sidechain called Minutes to do long distance carrying.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't watch all the videos.
Yeah, but Minutes Network is the brother of Mickey or something.
At first. But
then it was going to be Cosmos, which is why like the IBC bridge was exciting, and now it was Avalanche, and now it's going to be Polkadot, so that they can use the partner chain framework for Midnight, and so Trip knows more than that about any of us, but he's probably under NDA and can't say anything. So
how is World Mobile not already leapfrogged by Starlink?
Well, they work together, don't they?
They can be complementary. Like all World Mobile is in terms of a network is a Wi-Fi mesh network. Yeah, it's just a mesh network. Like we've been doing this in Wi-Fi for like 10, 12 years now. Like it's not fucking.
It's not new.
Right. Like this is the same as like your local like wireless 5G service provider.
Solar panel farms use the same technology, and they have done for a long time.
But the idea was that it was like, connect the unconnected, and then you got, your earth and air nodes. So you have a hardware set up somewhere in the middle of, Africa or wherever they don't have internet. But couldn't Starlink provide internet?
A question that I have on that is like, why sort of NFT gate that? Because surely if you have like these earth nodes or these like things, surely you would want as many as possible of them, right? To have a network that actually.
Well, the weird thing was basically
we want our own transactions coming our way. We only want a limited number of.
The Earth node concept was to basically decentralize the server farm for the carrier. And so essentially what the Earth nodes would be doing is that they would be actually kind of monitoring or recording all of the traffic across the network. So that way they could figure out how much, a customer in Zimbabwe should be billed by basically all of their minutes and all their messages going through this decentralized network of Earth nodes. So it saved them
would
from
stuff be like routed through them, or would it literally just be monitoring?
I think it would be more monitoring because... Well, no, because I mean they're ultimately connecting to the satellites, which already connect to the internet and could go anywhere already. So it would really just be going.
We're the DB.
The Earth nodes would just basically be the database for monitoring usage of the network, essentially. It's the only thing I could figure out because there is nothing about this solution that requires a blockchain or is improved by a blockchain, and Elon's going to short circuit and end run around everything they're doing with the direct to cellular Starlink.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Now, when I was in the mountains,
all you're going to need is a T-Mobile cell phone anywhere on the planet, and you're going to have signal.
Yeah, when I was in the mountains doing the Starlink stuff, some of the guys from World Mobile were out there doing air nodes and stuff, and some of those guys figured out how to pair them together and to widen the area that a Starlink router could service. I don't know how or what that really entails.
Well, yeah, because it's a Wi-Fi mesh network. So
Starlink uses a mesh network itself. If you get the extra, I use Starlink at home, so I know that if I get the extra routers, I can have a mesh network, and it's the same.
I've been installing mesh networks at fucking hotels and hospitals and that's what my business before I got into Cardano was. Right. I'm like, this is not anything revolutionary. I'm like, so you've got some Wi-Fi hotspots that you're installing, and if you do enough of them at like every other house or every third house by one internet connection, you could cover a whole village. Yeah, like that. That's what it is. Essentially.
The Elon's
it's more useful for companies who have different sites, and you can all connect to the same network from like completely different areas.
Yeah, and doing point-to-point over-the-air antennas and things like that. So you can have a disparate campus all connected and everything. I actually connected two across the Colorado River, 2 different connected properties using exactly the same technology.
That's cool.
So that they had one hard line on
because you're a geek.
But. And then, unfortunately, like a bunch of the crypto bros are like, no, guys, like this is totally new and different. I'm like, no, guys, like really, it's not.
It's not. No, I always knew it wasn't. I was never missold. On what it was. I just like the idea of the way it could just connect people, like give people in the middle of nowhere internet. I know Starlink wasn't a thing when World Mobile started, so
it was very, very new. At least
we're talking like 2020, maybe 21.
No, it was 21 when
I think I did literally the first video on World Mobile. I
remember I pre-ordered the first Starlink and I got it around the same time.
Yeah, I was on the waiting list as well, and it was in 2021. So
maybe in America, in UK, it's a bit different.
It's amazing how
many. You can't even get the new dishes over here. We have to use the moving ones, whereas
I have one of the old big ones. It's like
I got that one too.
Oh wow, okay.
Like probably 24 inches across, big thing. It has like the snow melter on it, and like it tracks the satellites and everything.
Oh, it's called the,
and now we got one for the mountains, and it's like this big. Yeah, it's like tiny.
Yeah.
And it's like
and
the
the
app there, and it's like
the app
good.
because it gives you a road.
It shows you like every tree that it can see and everything else. Like it's badass.
My Starlink is over there, and it tells me how much it can't see through my oak tree.
My buddy put one of those Starlinks on his side by side to get rid of the radio communication between him and his pit crew, and he runs it on a fucking Milwaukee battery.
Holy shit! Nice.
Yeah, on his side, on the side by side, and it can keep up with the rate that they're going through the woods.
Does he have like the mobile plan or whatever? Or
it has to be a mobile plan. Yeah,
I was gonna say because they watch it if your GPS changes, and they'll shut you down if you don't have the mobile plan or whatever. That's pretty cool.
But I think that mobile plan's become pretty standard at this point. I don't think it's. I think he pays like $20 more, or maybe the same.
Yeah, it was pretty spendy when they first released it, but yeah.
I took the Sky Dish off my house and just slide it on. The Starlink one was the easiest thing to set up in the world. Like
now with how they're getting the cost of the units down, it's almost better just to like buy a new one in every location. Like so, unless you're unless you're going with an RV or a caravan sort of like lifestyle, like it doesn't really make sense to have the mobile plan.
They take the piss with the Ethernet cable. I have to buy a converter so I can convert it to Ethernet. It's like, come on, like, who does that? Like,
not having a hardwire connection, and it's like Wi-Fi only, and it's like
£50 or whatever it is, just so I can have an Ethernet cable going into my fucking switch.
Look, Elon, I know you watch this all the time. Okay, don't be fucking Steve Jobs. Don't be Apple. Give us a USB-C to Ethernet adapter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
anything is works.
I don't mind like even the Apple thing, having their own cable. Like that's innovation. They can do the, if people can come up with something better.
No.
He wasn't coming up with
that's
something
not building in public, Josh. That's very close source of you.
Oh well, maybe. Well, no, I'm not necessarily. It needs to be closed. It could be open still, but still something different. But but the fact that everyone has an Ethernet connection, like no one, you have to buy it. Is there any other way you can connect to that router without an Ethernet connection?
Yeah, so you use a Wi-Fi mesh router that can connect to that signal.
The system they sell, you mean? Right.
No, you could do it with like an off-the-shelf.
Well, I did it
like a
it doesn't work as
like a Ubiquiti Unify. You could connect over the Wi-Fi and authenticate to the Wi-Fi on that. And so you're gonna get some latency. So if you want the shortest latency, you want to be hardwired in.
If I'm watching a video from here in my office and I walk over to my main house, it will lose connection, and it will just be like, if I quickly turn the thing on and off, I'll reconnect back to the actual Starlink one, and it's a bit like that's a little bit annoying. And I get shit from my wife about it. Oh, this amazing internet you just got. It's not fucking working. And it's like, it's
fucking amazing, is it, there, Josh?
You don't get it.
It's coming from a satellite, okay? Come on.
Yeah, but I mean, that is pretty cool, though. Like,
it's amazing how many satellites they put up. I think he did. He put up 3 rockets.
They're
this
not even
week.
Stars we see anymore. They're just
it's
floating around.
Yeah.
Just satellites now.
He's actually creating a Dyson sphere, and nobody is paying attention. It's just a Dyson sphere around the Earth, which isn't a good power source.
To keep all the energy out.
He's got his own constellations now. There's the Elon constellation of Starlink satellites.
Right, yeah. In 5,000 years, they'll be like, oh, yeah, there's the Elon rising.
You won't even see Earth. It'll just be, oh, yeah, there it is. There's all where, all the Wi-Fi is coming from.
But like even
is he setting us up for like the ultimate Pink Floyd laser light show? Like if all of those satellites like had like little fucking pulsy LEDs on them, and he turns them all coordinated in a certain way, then it's like
he does with the
it's like the drone shows, but like
exactly like the drone shows, but on a global scale. Like the entire night side of the Earth can be getting this crazy drone show.
I mean, that's pretty much what they are. They got argon.
The advertising, you could just have like
tonight is brought to you by Google.
Across the world, just trolling across the world. Good job.
You got to get the premium subscription to unlock
that'd be the
nighttime.
premium package. Yeah.
It's just like weaponizing light.
You're not
pollution.
allowed to see the stars anymore unless you
The
pay.
economy package is just up and down. It's not quite as effective.
Oh dear.
Oh, good shit. All right,
No,
but yeah,
that's my shout to Elon. I might patent that idea.
So Josh, are we calling it that you had 2 entire batches of trick-or-treaters and that's all you're getting tonight, or
yeah, well, that second batch had 2 lots with them, so you know.
What is 2 lots? Is that like 8?
It was like, I mean, like there was 2 adults.
Okay, yeah, so
kids. So
2 different groups.
So 3 lots of trick-or-treaters, but it's quite a scary road I live on. Like there's gypsies next door, and
have you ever been to the Abbey Road that's in Liverpool? Because that's a scary fucking road. Okay, let me tell you. You're like, I'm gonna get stabbed. This is not safe, because it turns out that the proper Abbey Road is in London somewhere and not actually in Liverpool. So
you should venture. When you were in Scotland, you should have ventured over to Glasgow. And
we did.
You would have seen that there is roughness beyond roughness there.
I was like, Glasgow, I'm good. Like there's not really anything here. It just looks like a big city that I might get stabbed in.
10-year-old kid selling you heroin kind of shit. You know,
I'm out, y'all.
And they probably got guns too. You know.
I gotta go get ready as well.
Right, it is Scotland, but yeah, let's let the Euros get to bed, and we have to go get ready for trick or treating over here. So,
yeah, we're all done. So.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, guys. We had
before we close it out, I want to highlight this thing. Have you seen this?
Is that the mate cup from the?
Yeah.
No, not all of us were in Buenos Aires, Trim. All right, so
it's really nice. They gave these out to basically everyone. And the thing is, I have 2 because someone said, "Hey, can you bring me a mate cup?" But I even bought like 2 of these like half-kilo packs of mate. Now,
yeah, so smuggle that to me in December when we see you in Argentina.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I don't remember who said bring it to me. So
there you go. That's very convenient. Just hold on to that. Just hold. They don't. Just let it ride, bro.
Now you got an extra, and those Argentinians, they are definitely addicted to their mate. Like they love their yerba mate like nothing.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't really tried mine yet, but it's I'm considering switching out my caffeine source from the very healthy or 2 or 3 energy drinks per day to something more organic.
Yeah, definitely switch to that over the energy drinks. But unless it's Snack Energy, shout out Snack Energy. I like that shit. No. That's good.
I tried it.
I haven't actually tried it.
It's good, but I mean it's the synthetic sugar thing. So if you are sensitive to that flavor, you're not going to enjoy it very much. But I think it's pretty
really
tasty,
am sensitive. I don't go for that sugar-free crap.
Yeah. So
this Coke Zero, fucking hell.
Don't even get me started on Coke Zero. But yeah, all right. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for joining SpacePlace. We're at the 2-hour mark, and we'll catch y'all sometime later.
Chat to you later.
See you next Thursday.
Bye.
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 Bye.